वन्दे मातरं सुजलां सुफलां मलयज शीतलाम्. Now, there's a common misconception that Vande Mataram is a hymn to goddess Durga, and hence it's not digestible or acceptable to the vision of a plural society that India has come to be today. In the opening lines of the song, the composer introduces the who, what, and why of the song. The intention of the song is very clear. These lands owned by this mother, Bharatamata, are Sujala, Suphala, Malayaja, Shitala. Sujalam, Suphalam, Malayaja, Shitalam, Shasya Shamalam, Mataram, Vande Mataram. I bow down to thee, that mother, Bharatamata. These are not descriptions of Durga. First point. Second point, the actual question that he is asking is that this mother is not weak. Abala kenama etabale bahubala dharinim namami tarinim ripudala varinim mataram vande mataram. This question actually comes in the third stanza, but this is the question that he is answering, that the mother who owns these fertile lands, how can she be weak? She cannot be weak. And no wonder that this song became the battle cry during the partition of Bengal and later was on the minds, lips, and hearts of many, many freedom fighters who sang these songs. The song was on the lips and pervaded the hearts of millions of freedom fighters who sang towards the dream of an independent India. Most of the national institutions back then also included this song. It was sung by the Indian National Army. It was sung during the open and closed door proceedings of the Indian National Congress as well. Now, the real question is, isn't this history sufficient to include it in our national memory as our national song? Think again. Sometimes a song is not the sum total of its parts. A song is a whole memory, and hence Vande Mataram is an indispensable part of India's memory. Shouldn't it be?